This episode of Beauty and the Surgeon podcast is brought to you by Let's Get Checked. Let's Get Checked is an online company dedicated to making professional health testing easy and accessible. Let's Get Checked offers fast, affordable, completely confidential at-home health tests from a range of tests from STDs, male and female hormones, and even COVID-19. Listeners of our podcast who are new to Let's Get Checked get 20% off by using our URL, trylgc.com/beauty, and be sure to use the code BEAUTY20 at checkout. That's trylgc.com, trylgc.com/beauty, BEAUTY, and be sure to use the code BEAUTY20, BEAUTY20 at checkout. Do it. Getting tested is important. It's the responsible thing to do, and you know how important I think it is to make sure you understand your labs. Welcome, everyone, to Beauty and the Surgeon podcast. I'm Amy. I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner, and I'm joined today, as always, by the devilishly handsome Dr. Jason Martin.
I'm very handsome.
He's a board-certified plastic and reconstructive surgeon. Dr. Martin, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm good. There is a very exciting thing coming up. This is episode 99. We've been podcasting for about 3.5 years. So on June 1st, 2021 is going to be episode 100.
That's crazy.
And we have something really fun planned, but we're hoping that you all listening and watching can help us out. So we have a voicemail that I am always excited to get voicemails at. And if you leave a voicemail...
I can take, she checks at least 4 times a day.
Yeah. Just
maybe 5.
Can't wait for calls.
She's like my teenage daughter.
Yeah. So if you are so inclined and would like to leave us a comment or just a fun thing for our 100th episode, we would love that. Our phone number is in the description box below, but it is also 303-630-9038.
Nils always puts it right down here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we will be doing a giveaway too. So for those of you who do call in and leave us a comment, we have a Beauty and the Surgeon cup for you.
Come on.
So one lucky winner.
That's OG swag right there. So
yep. So we really hope that you will participate because we would love to have some fun interaction for our 100th episode.
I mean, I can't believe it's 99. If we had money, we'd buy rights to Prince's party like it's 1999.
Maybe you can just sing it for us. I think if it's less than 30 seconds or like less than 10 seconds, you're good. Go for it.
I feel like Prince, like that doesn't work for him. R.I.P.
Yes. So if you're watching this on our YouTube channel at Jason Martin MD, or if you would like to, this is a great one to watch because as you can tell from the bags on the table and the title of this episode, we are doing the stuff we were into, which is the grab bag episode, which is one of my favorite episodes.
And Nils told us not to make noise when you set it down.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I have something.
Which I'm not sure how that's possible.
That was pretty good.
Don't want to upset Nils.
Yes.
Didn't realize that we weren't the talent. Nils is.
Oh, no, Nils is definitely the talent.
He's definitely the talent.
So
we're just here to serve Nils.
If you are listening and you'd like to watch again, you can find that on our YouTube channel at Jason Martin MD. So without further ado, Dr. Martin, you're going to go first. So you're going to reach into my bag
so
first.
before we start grabbing, so we need to establish the rules before. At the end of these, we always vote on who's best, and I've won.
You vote on who's best. Every time.
I've won every single one.
Oh, okay.
And it's hard. It's hard to know. You know, like when you win so much, like Alabama football.
All I do is win, win, win.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Or the Lakers or Golden State. You know, it gets hard to kind of keep your game up. So I had to really dig down deep this time and get those like competitive juices flowing to beat you. And I will tell you that I know that all of our picks are going to be a little more boring this time because we just went through a year of interesting stuff. And I was kind of insular.
Yeah.
So we weren't like, you know, so we'll see what we got. Okay. So am I starting first?
Yes. So you are going first.
Okay.
So
for all the listeners, I'm reaching into a bag.
I'm not in there.
I'm not looking.
Don't look.
I'm not looking.
Now, some of my things, there's 2 of the same thing. So if you feel 2 things that are very, very much the same, you can grab them.
And I'm going
both.
to tell you what I'm feeling just real quick before I pull it out. I mean, it feels like some sort of animal figurine.
Oh.
Okay. Maybe a cow. Okay. I can't tell you the color because my hands aren't that good, but they should be.
They should be.
That's all I got.
Okay, well,
I'm gonna pull this out. Oh my God, a cow figurine.
You were right. So there's another one.
There we go.
She has a mate.
Okay, that's good. So we see these cows.
Yep.
If we knew anything about agriculture, we'd know what kind of cows these are. But I'm going to say these are milk cows.
Well, one is. I mean, you can tell that by looking. See, which one of these is a girl cow?
Oh, so you're giving me an anatomy lesson now?
Well, yes.
Okay.
So this is a girl cow. She's got udders. This is a boy cow.
Okay, so they're like hanging out together.
Yes.
Okay.
They're cows. Yeah. So the thing I am into, and I couldn't figure out what to do for this, is Butcher Box.
Oh, I love Butcher
Box. And I didn't bring it up more before now. I mean, I mention it all the time on our podcast. Like I talk about Butcher Box and how much I love it all the time, but especially during the past year and being able to have amazing quality grass finished and fed 100% traceable meat and seafood delivered to your house has been an amazing thing.
Yeah.
The quality is outstanding. I have actually been a member of ButcherBox since they first started. So for 6 years now, I have been getting amazing grass finished and fed meat, free range chickens, pastured pork. I used to love it when they had beef bones. Oh my gosh. I would buy these big bags of like 4 pounds of these amazing, incredible beef
and make
marrow
your own
bones.
stock. We know
Yes.
all about this.
It was
blah, blah.
amazing. But there's a link in the description box below. And if you use that link, you do not have to. This is not a sponsored video. I wish it was, but it is not.
So besides Aura, I think ButcherBox would be the one company that I would want to sponsor us because I absolutely 100% feel the same about ButcherBox.
Yeah, it's amazing. But
Yeah.
if you use the link in the description box, you will get $30 off your first order. And you can skip months. You can change your box. Like they do 2 types of boxes now. So you can either do the regular, which used to be the only option. And it was great because you literally never knew what you were going to get. It was so much fun. So like there would be like these crazy cuts of meat that I'd never even heard of before. And like, oh my gosh, I got beef cheeks in one that I literally still like have memories to how incredible these beef cheeks were. Clearly I'm an omnivore. Just amazing fun stuff. And then when they became bigger, then they had these customized boxes. So it is a little bit more expensive to do a custom box, but you literally get to pick what you get, which is what I do now because, I don't know, now I'm maybe not as
You're not living life like you used to.
I feel like I should go back. Actually, I was thinking about that. I'm like, I should go back to the.
I knew
one.
Amy Chains when she went from the potpourri box to the customized box.
Just
It's
choose
like
your
it
own.
really used to be fun, but not anymore.
Yeah,
We do the customized box. I have a family of 4, so we need the customized box because my son likes this thing, my daughter likes that. Now, the issue that I think now is everyone's focusing on nutrition as they should be. We went through a difficult year. Everyone thinks this or that, this kind of diet or that kind of diet. If you're a vegan or a vegetarian, Amy and I 100% support that. There's ethical reasons and and environmental reasons in some cases. But if that's not where your headspace is, then you really should focus on sourcing of your food. Amy taught me this a long time ago. I called BS on it, and then she was absolutely right. So sourcing of your food, vegetables, meat, is so important. Avoiding processed foods is really important. It's not 100. You can't do it 100% of the time, but trying to get whole foods and properly sourced. And that's why ButcherBox is so good, because at least from what they sell and what they guarantee that you're getting grass-fed, grass-finished,
traceable,
completely
ethically raised.
And by the way, it comes from Wisconsin, mostly in Wisconsin. I've been there to the Dells and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They are actual farms. You can go to these farms and buy food from them. These are farms where the cattle are like grazing openly, right? These aren't these agricultural nightmare.
CAFOs.
Yeah, exactly. These kind of, what do they call them? Like
it's called a CAFO.
Okay, whatever the word is. This is the exact opposite of that. And if you are okay with eating meat, if you're okay with, that kind of diet, which, by the way, I think is extremely important. Protein in your diet is extremely important, and you can get that from vegetables. It's harder. Then I think that this...
Yeah, you actually can't.
Oh, you can't?
You cannot.
Okay, here we go. I don't want to get her started on that diet trap.
No.
But I do think that ButcherBox is one of the best ones on the market.
It is. And there are a lot of other meat delivery services, and I have researched a lot of them. I've stuck with ButcherBox throughout the years because I do appreciate the flexibility. Also, the pricing is kind of unbeatable. They do also have, in addition to the random box, you can get 2 different sizes of the custom box. They have a small and a larger one depending on the size of your family. You can customize the cuts that are in there. You can also do add-ons for fish, burgers, sausages, hot dogs, pulled pork. I've been getting the pulled pork recently and I love it. Scallops. They also have monthly specials, so things that are seasonal, because as with nature, things are sometimes in season and sometimes not. They have completely responsible fishing, so not all fish is going to be in season all year. So when they do have certain fish, they have lobster right now. Oh, like it's really awesome. And they also, Mills is like hungry over there. One new thing that they've added, and I don't even know if you know that they do this, the bundles. Have you seen the new bundles?
No.
So they've added a new feature, which are these great, like kind of pre-packaged bundles. So like there's like a breakfast bundle that has like sausage and bacon.
Their bacon
So good.
is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like thicker than 3 cuts of normal bacon.
Oh, it's so good. And they run amazing specials throughout the year. You can do turkeys, pasture
I feel like we're like spokespeople. We don't want to oversell ButcherBox, but I mean, especially during the pandemic, I want to say this, that when I got that box, I felt like I was going to survive.
Mm-hmm.
I had that feeling. Perfectly sourced food, ethically raised, all the stuff that you and your family needs for nutrition. And then it's so fun to try to find different ways to cook some of these things.
Yeah. They have traditional cuts.
We took our butcher box pork chops and we slow roasted it, or like did
smoked them.
with the steamer slow roasting thing. It's circular. You put it in there. What is that called?
The air fryer?
No. It's not under pressure. It's just a slow cooker.
Yeah.
What do you call those? Slow cookers?
Just slow cooker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't cook. But we did that in the slow cooker for about, and put some potatoes in there and some apples. And it was just so good. And brine the pork chops beforehand.
Yeah. The one thing, though, I will tell you, once you have been using ButcherBox for a long time, it kind of ruins you for all other cuts of meat. Like having a steak out, even like a really expensive steak, it's just not what it used to be. And I love steak.
And like their chicken is so good.
Yeah.
The chicken is like noticeably different.
It kind of ruins you for all other meat. So be prepared to eat a lot more at home when you have ButcherBox.
All right. That's an awesome choice. You're winning right now.
I'm going to leave my cows here because they're just so cute.
Thank you for telling me which one was female and which one was male.
I mean, in case you just turn it over and look.
Okay.
I would highly recommend not crawling
I'm supposed to look at the
underneath
genitals to know what sex they are.
That's right.
Okay.
That's a good way to find out.
All right. So next, Amy's going to choose from me.
Okay. Is this a shoe? This is a shoe. It is a shoe.
Yeah. So why don't you explain what it is to the people?
There's something else in there.
Okay, you didn't see that.
Yep. This is a Peloton shoe. So this is a cycling shoe. Specifically, it would be like a road cycling shoe. But I will tell you this. This is beside the point. I would not wear this outside. I don't feel like the Peloton shoes are all that great quality for wearing outside. They're meant for inside.
They're kind of unsafe, to be honest with you. They're really slippery.
Yeah.
It's interesting, so.
Well, when you're not used to rocking around, but like in my road bike shoe or for road biking, they have a little bit different type of grip, so it's a little bit rubberized.
Yeah.
I also have a little like cap over mine, but they are. On a base level, walking around in road bike shoes is dangerous.
Right. Totally. So, Peloton's fine. I'm not talking about Peloton, even though it's great, and that really helped me. That saved me during the pandemic. But my thing I'm into right now is Zone 2 kind of cardio fitness. Mm-hmm. So zones, they have different zones, and I'm not an exercise physiologist, so please, but Zone 2 is that kind of cardio that you can talk, but you're kind of out of breath.
Do you wear a heart rate monitor?
Yeah. So I wear my Apple Watch. For me, Zone 2 is going to be, Zone 2 is always, I think, 60 to 70%. Have it up there. 70 to 80% of your maximum heart rate. Maximum heart rate is 220 minus your age. Okay. So for me, my age is 30. So it's 190, 70 to 80%. No. So my kind of Zone 2 is 130s to 140s. Now, it is interesting because if you're in really good shape, and you're at 70 to 80% of your maximum heart rate, you maybe could just go there and be fine. So 70 to 80% is different for different in shape people, just so you know that. But that is a really, really good zone for a lot of things that are beneficial to you. And the reason why I got into this is that Amy and I both know we've had coaches. We want to build muscle. What do you think, according to them, or those types of people, or that element, what is the best cardio to do?
I would say either very low intensity, so LISS, or HIIT.
HIIT. And HIIT is what they usually go to. Tabata. Amy likes doing it on the bike. That's where you go really fast for 30 seconds and then cool down for a minute or something like that.
Minute and a half, at least. In 30 seconds would be the most you would do on a HIIT.
Right. So you're going as fast as you can.
Yeah, like 8 seconds is sometimes a HIIT.
I actually think it's better on the bike. I think the problem with HIIT primarily is that you can hurt yourself, because you're going as fast as you can.
Yeah, you should not attempt HIIT unless you are decently in shape.
Right. And then that low kind of burn for a long period of time is really good. And the reason why is, especially for weightlifting, is you don't lose muscle.
Yeah, LISS is very muscle sparing.
Lose less muscle.
Yeah.
HIIT also has the benefits of having better diabetes control and better for your blood pressure over any other type of exercise. You burn more calories quicker, and there's some longevity benefits to HIIT workouts. So a HIIT workout should be in your workout if you're healthy, period. The reason why I've gotten into this Zone 2, which is 30 minutes at heart rate of 130, 140, is that it's been really good to really zone in on my heart rate. I don't do that with HIIT workouts, right? No. And it's kind of meditative too, to be honest with you. Also, with the Peloton, which is why I brought this in, there's this option in the Peloton. I don't like the classes, okay?
You don't like Cody Rigsby?
No.
Or Ali Love?
No, I hate it because I got these people go, 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 wah! And it's always like this music and loud music. And I was like, God, these people are annoying. So they have this other part. And it's so funny on Peloton. You have to go to a different screen.
Yeah, the Just Ride.
Yeah. And they have Just Ride, or they have
The scenic rides.
the scenic rides.
Yeah.
And if you go back, OG, so what things we're into, the first one we did was hiking for me. And the reason I like hiking is forest bathing. And literally those scenic rides, you go through the forest and you see it. And so you're not in the forest.
That is not the same as being in the
I
forest.
know it. But the pandemic did not allow us to go do some of the things we wanted to do. And it was actually a real lifesaver to me. And that kind of zone 2 training is really good aerobic training. It's really good for your heart. It's actually really good for increasing ATP, and from the fact that it causes more mitochondria production.
Mm-hmm.
And all those things are beneficial to your life and healthy, but it actually helped me mentally too. Because HIIT training is kind of like sympathetics. You're going as fast as you can. You're sweating. And everything we do now working out is all about
Yeah, HIIT training should not be done by people who are having like adrenal issues or chronic fatigue, or because it's very stressing to your adrenal system.
And I already do tons of NEAT, non-exercised activity thermogenesis, which I do way more, and Amy does way more, because I'm either doing surgery or walking around the office. I'm walking all day long, and I'm that type of person. So my missing element was the zone 2, which is really, really good for your heart. Okay. Aerobic training, not anaerobic training. Anaerobic training is weightlifting and the HIIT training. So that's what I was into. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm a cyclist. So to me, like, I like Peloton for the cycling component because I really am a cyclist. I do have some, just being a traditional road cyclist, it is a little bit challenging. The metrics on the Peloton don't really fit my body super well. So I find I have some like calf issues, and like it's hard to adjust the bike perfectly.
Which is my problem with the bike.
Yeah, like if you are a really snooty cyclist, like you might struggle with that. Like I prefer riding my bike on the trainer. Like I have my actual road bike just set up on the trainer. But I agree. Oh my gosh, especially like in the dead of December when it's dark basically all day. Oh, like just spending an hour spinning on my bike is like the best. Like it's so good.
Right. It's
like,
good mentally.
Yep. It's good. And you just.
FYI, exercise in general, but specifically zone 2 and zone 1 have not really shown to have, great, like huge benefits to you from like a Alzheimer's and Parkinson's standpoint. Exercise in general does, but those types of exercises, but they definitely do have a positive effect on mental health for sure. Okay. That's been shown. And when you're isolated and you're stuck, and hopefully we're coming out of all this stuff, it's different. But when you're there, it made a big difference for me. I really enjoyed it. Also, Paul, or my coach.
Paul Revelia.
Yeah.
Shout out to Pro Physique.
That's what his go-to is, which I find very interesting. And usually with coaches, especially since I know stuff, I don't want to sit there and ask.
You know stuff.
I know stuff. Yeah. I don't want to ask him questions because
this is like the day you told me when you were just surfing the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
This is how you know stuff.
I know stuff. Yeah. I really don't know stuff, but I don't want to sit there and nitpick, and so he'll write something on the plan and I'll just do it because it's nice. You don't have to think about it. Right. Mm-hmm. But reading between the lines, and I've had little bit of discussions with this. I'm like, oh, it's interesting. You're doing this kind of steady state cardio, zone 2, mild to moderate. It's zone 2 basically.
Miss. Moderate intensity.
Yeah, moderate intensity. And it's interesting. His response was, and I'm sure it was my age. He's like, yeah, it's good for your heart. Mm-hmm. It's like good for your health. So don't forget about zone 2. We're so focused on diets. We're so focused on like super intense training. Like think CrossFit.
Well,
okay?
I would think even like Orange Theory, like the things that you really focus on, like intense heart rate ranges.
Right. But zone 2 aerobic training actually has a place. So if you're doing cardio, and everyone should, you should mix it up. You should do some zone 2 training. If you're healthy enough, do some HIIT training, and definitely do the low impact stuff. And then, if you have a Fitbit or Apple Watch, you can focus on your NEAT, like your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, like the movement stuff, how much you're walking and moving during the day and standing.
That's a really good one. I'm going to put my cows in.
You put your cows in the shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. So you're going to grab from my bag again, and then we're going to take a quick break. But we're going to do this first.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Here we go.
Here we go. All right. I'm feeling around in here. I'm going to do this one here.
All right.
Oh, yeah. I almost thought about doing this.
So this is really cool.
You may win this one because you got cows. Number one, I'm such a sucker for cows. Any kind of cow.
Yep, I got cows. All right, so this is the Ominluxe Contour, And it's called the Ominluxe Contour because, see, it's very flexible. So this is an LED
You have to look on the
mask.
YouTube channel for this.
Yep.
It's pretty cool looking.
So LED therapy is something we've talked about in our episode where we talk about skincare. We kind of briefly mentioned LED light therapy. We've talked about before for recovery, for inflammation, like LED therapy or LED lights have been used for many, many years now. So, I mean, FDA approved for well more than 15 years, I would say, for the uses for medical grade uses. Dr. Martin was actually really key in helping a company get some of their red light therapy approved by the FDA. So it's well vetted, I guess, for lack of a better word, and it's actually really beneficial. So this is a super cool mask. I'm not going to put it on or turn it on. Well, I can turn it on. So
You got to put it on.
no, it's terrifying.
No, you have to put it on.
It's so scary.
Who cares? Like, well, they already know us. Do you think that we're like fooling anyone? You
Okay,
have to put this
so-
thing on, and you have to turn it on.
Okay. It's hard to put on.
That's fine. Just,
Okay.
I'll keep talking.
You gotta
Anyways,
talk about red lights.
So red light therapy, which is a wavelength around 650 nanometers, is really good for inflammation and aging.
Well, this one has both. So this actually
I
has
know.
650
I
and
know. You said red light therapy. I got you.
Yep.
So, and then you can have blue light therapy, which is really good for acne.
don't laugh, Nels.
I know. All right. By the way, if you're looking on the YouTube channel, not only does she look crazy, she looks like she's about to go to a mental asylum.
Oh, wait till I turn it on. You think it's scary now.
Yeah.
You think this is scary. You
And
haven't
then
seen
the
scary.
funny thing on the outside of this thing, Nils, it has this kind of Maori kind of tattooing thing. So it makes people looks like they have tattooed faces.
Yeah. Okay,
All
so
right.
I'm going to turn it on.
Go ahead.
Okay.
That is crazy. For God's sake, anyone right now, go to the YouTube channel, please. At this point, whatever the timestamp is, this will timestamp it. Amy looks like a freak.
I mean, if this doesn't scare you, I don't know what
I know.
does. My significant other said the other night, like, that never stops being scary.
Right. So, by the way, Barb did this. My wife did this, and she
let's take it off.
struggled with her eyes. She felt like it was burning her eyes.
Really? See, and
She's so sensitive on her eyes, though.
Well, and I'm a contact lens wearer.
Yeah.
And I have very sensitive eyes. So it doesn't bother me.
When I say burning, I don't mean like physically burning, like the brightness.
Just bothered
yeah.
them. And you can close your eyes. I mean, it has the eye slits in it. When I first got these, there was a video on the website of a person cutting an apple with this, and I'm like, I would cut my finger off because it is really bright. So if it does bother your eyes, I would just say close them. You know, it is a frequency that's not going to be dangerous, and you're only doing it for 10 minutes at a time. It has a little timer, so it automatically shuts itself off after 10 minutes. But the reason I really like this mask specifically is it's made by Ominluxe, which is one of the major manufacturers of LED light treatment for medical purposes. So they do the blue lights for Levulon, they do medical grade treatment.
And, I mean,
panels.
Those blue lights, when I started in 07, 06, those blue lights were big from Ominluxe. They've been around for decades.
Yeah, so if you've had a medical treatment at a medical spa or at a doctor's office that was a red light panel, it was very likely an Ominluxe panel. They're really one of the biggest ones in the field. And until now, you know, that was really the best way to get a medical grade treatment was you really had to go to a doctor or a dermatologist's office because there weren't any masks on the market that had the right wavelengths, that had a lot of lights, you know, that got to the right kind of, had that right mix of wearability and actual usability. And then when this one came out, I was so excited because it's flexible, which is really key. The other ones on the market are kind of like a Iron Man mask, you know, like they were one piece, they were kind of thick, they were not very comfortable, they had weird pressure spots, you had to have them for like 20 minutes, they didn't have the correct wavelengths. So this one I was just so impressed with, so we actually carry these in our office. They are pricey. The retail price on these is actually $4.95. The website, Ominluxe, you can get them directly from Ominluxe, is on sale right now for $3.95, but they are on back order because they're very popular.
Yeah, because this is like one of the few things we've shown that we actually sell.
Yeah, we do sell these. So we sell these as well. I do have some in stock. So if anybody is wanting one immediately and you can't get it on the website because they're back ordered.
It only took us 100 episodes to try to sell something on here.
You can certainly reach out to me. They are $3.95, but they have a 2-year warranty. And, you know, they're something that you want to wear when you first get it. You want to do it like 5 nights a week for just 10 minutes. And then after you've done that for a full month, you can kind of cut back to 2 or 3 times a week. One of the things I really love about this too is because it is flexible and is meant for the face, but I do use it on my neck also. They make one specifically for the neck, but I am very frugal, as we all know. So I actually just like lay it on my neck when I get done and do it for another 10 minutes. I also put my hands under it and do it on my hands.
Yeah.
They make a mask specifically or a little hand mitt.
So quickly, before we go on to the next one, what's the benefit of red light and the blue light?
So this just has red. So this
Okay.
has red and far infrared. So the
Yeah.
frequencies in this are going to be beneficial for anti-aging, and that has been studied. So they have done studies that prove that it does help reduce wrinkles and fine lines, helps stimulate collagen
And it helps with irritation and redness on your face
and
too.
inflammation.
Yeah, if
Yep.
you have someone that you suffer from rosacea or one of those kind of things, and you're red and inflamed, a lot of people do, especially where we live. These masks can make a big difference. These masks can also be used in recovery. So we pretty much are including this now into our facelift packages, and including these masks as a recovery method they do at home. You know, historically we've done it in the office with these big paneled lights, but if they can do it at home on a frequency that we can set up, I mean, it's way better for people.
You can do it every day. And, especially during maybe challenging times in the world, it was not maybe great to have somebody coming into your office when they could do something at home. So having a home option was really great. When you're recovering from surgery, it's kind of nice. It feels good. It does get warm. It is a warm treatment. When it turns off, it feels immediately like freezing cold because your face has been so nice and warm. And then all of a sudden the cold hits you. So it feels really nice. It's safe. You can use it right after surgery. And that's something I really do like about it, is that because it's soft and flexible, it's not putting pressure like where you may have incisions, even from like an eyelid surgery, to be totally safe to wear this. So,
or filler treatments or Botox where you get the redness, you don't like all that stuff, that swelling. So if you like Botox and fillers, you should get one of these masks, wear it afterwards, because it'll shorten your swelling and bruising time by half probably.
And I really love it. I've seen great results with it. I really do feel like when I am consistent with it, and I do it at the right intervals, I really do see a reduction in fine lines and wrinkles. So
good job.
I'm a big fan. And you all just got to be totally scared by me today.
You're doing the Halloween costume.
Yeah, I know.
No, I just wear this.
Sarah's definitely going to pick that out.
I am
for
wearing my
Instagram.
Ominluxe.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break now, and then we're going to come back with our final three.
All right.
Dr. Martin, I'm super excited to talk about our sponsor for this podcast, Let's Get Checked. If you've been a listener of our podcast, you know that we have never had a sponsor before, and that's because we're an educational podcast. We're not looking to monetize, and we also would never recommend something that we didn't believe in and or use ourselves.
So basically you're saying we're very choosy.
We're very choosy when we come to our testing, but Let's Get Checked really aligns with our values. We talk a lot about monitoring your blood values of certain things. We talked recently about vitamin D serum levels. We talk a lot about hormone levels, and it's hard for some people to get to a lab, or you're afraid of the blood draw, or just, you're concerned about confidentiality. Like you have a lot of concerns and you just don't do it. Let's Get Checked makes it super easy because it's completely confidential. You do it from your home. So there's really no excuse not to do it.
Yeah, and we did it recently. Both Amy and I did it. She looked at her women's health, basically her hormone levels, and I looked at mine on the men's health side with testosterone. It was very simple. You go online. Their online interface is really easy to use and good. We got the testing kit very quickly. And the test itself, actually doing the stick, you do a stick on the end of your finger, is not hard to do. It only took about 3 to 4 minutes. You put it back in a sealed envelope that's confidential, goes back to them. You get your results in 2 to 5 days. It's really that simple. And the best part is it's about empowerment, about you taking control and trying to do things that are positive for your health and life. And this is one way to do it, literally from the comfort of your own home.
Yeah, so they offer a wide range of tests. So they do men's and women's hormone panels. They do a full panel of STD testing. They also are now offering a COVID-19 test at home. So there are a lot of other just basic blood levels that you can get tested as well. And one of the things that we always say is you can't track what you don't check. So you might not know what's normal for you in the future if you're not checking it now, especially as it relates to hormones. And men's health specifically, I feel like, is a little bit undertreated. I mean, sperm counts are dropping by a large percentage in men these days. Most men struggle at some point in their lifetime with low testosterone.
And those men do not know what the symptoms of low testosterone are. Depression, anxiety, sleep problems, osteopenia or loss of bone, loss of muscle, and something we treat all the time, gynecomastia or male breast growth. These are real problems that can be improved or treated with testosterone. And these men do not know their levels. It's so easy to get checked. And this is why we're so excited about the sponsor.
Yeah. And Let's Get Checked is a completely CLIA certified lab, the CLIA lab. So they're a well-established, completely safe lab to use. You do get contacted after, so you get your results. I got a text at 4:30 in the morning, which I loved, that my results were ready.
And we're both up at 4:30, so that was good.
Super excited. And you have access to not only a nurse, but also a physician. So a physician does review your results, and it gives you a little breakdown of like where you're sitting on those levels. Dr. Martin's had even comparisons of like where 2 of the levels should be in relation to each other, which is a really important thing to note.
Right.
Just being within the normal range is not always enough. So it really gave more information than that that. You'd still want to, of course, reach out to your own doctor if you needed some additional assistance with these labs or you did see something that was concerning. We didn't, thankfully, so that was good.
Yeah. We were both good. This podcast is about empowerment. It's educational. In my private practice, I'm a board certified plastic surgeon. We are all about empowerment, and this is one way to do it. So we're very excited about the sponsorship, and we're looking forward to using it for our patients moving forward.
Yeah. So as a listener of our podcast, if you're also a new time user to Let's Get Checked, which a lot of you probably are, we do have a 20% discount code. So you do need to go to our specific URL, and it is linked in the description box below, but it's going to be TryLGC, so TRYLGC, like Let's Get Checked.com/beauty, BEAUTY. And you'll need to use the code BEAUTY20 at checkout. Beauty again is BEAUTY 220. And you can pick a test, like any test you'd like, put in our code and get your test shipped to you. Getting tested is the right thing to do. It's let you know where you're at and what's responsible.
All right. Well, let's get tested.
Let's get tested. Let's get checked.
Let's get checked.
All right. So we are back. Everybody get checked. I get to take 2 more. You only have 1 left. So the one that I have left better be really good.
You're kicking my ass right now. I don't think I have hope this time. That's okay. Like when you're a perennial powerhouse, you got to sometimes get beat so you can get that fire back.
We need a crown.
Yeah, we do. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You ready for the
I'm
next
ready.
one?
All right. Okay. Here we go. Fisetin.
Yes.
This is a flavonoid.
Exactly. So Amy, tell us about flavonoids.
So flavonoids are things that are helpful for kind of fighting free radicals in the body. Really good for anti-aging, for just overall like supporting your body's oxidation or antioxidation process. We don't like oxidation. Oxidation is bad. If you think of rust, like on a piece of metal, your body is kind of rusting on the inside. So those radical oxygen species, or ROSs as we call them, ROSs,
Yeah, I like that.
fights the ROSs. So it kind of helps your body produce the right things to kind of knock out all these bad guys.
Right. And what are some of the foods that you can get these kind of flavonoids from?
They tend to be the highest in like berries, apples, quercetin is something we've talked a lot about on the podcast.
Persimmon,
Yep.
grapes, onions, that kind of stuff.
Strawberries.
Cucumbers. Yeah, strawberries. Mm-hmm. So you can get these naturally from food. These are just concentrated flavonoids. What's the one that we talk about all the time? The quercetin. Quercetin, yeah. And so in reality, like during this year of lockdown, I also was like going crazy on longevity, okay? And
if I'm going to lose a year of my life, I'm going to live a year longer.
Exactly. I'm getting this goddamn year back. Okay. And, one of the things is we've talked about before, and I forget which episode, but it's the episode where it was actually science articles we're into, I think. It's one where I talk about mTOR.
Oh, yeah. That was research we were into, but that was like the first one. Because the last research we were into, I talked about the study on quercetin.
Yeah. It's the first research we're into, and Nils will get that for us. Anyways, I talked about mTOR. So, and I talked about mTOR had actually nothing to do with longevity and everything to do with building muscle. mTOR is part of the building process in your body, and it takes excess stuff and it makes, muscle. And one of the things it makes, or it's the muscle building process. But the opposite of that was like, what was it was the triangle that you always liked.
Oh, yeah. So like the things that are kind of stopping mTOR.
Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. You can go back and look at that episode. Anyways, the opposite of that, in times of depletion, in all organism eukaryotes, it stimulates the sirtuin pathways. And I think humans, and I got to go back and look at my notes. So I think it was like 7 pathways, and plants have them, grapes have them, and that's why wine is good actually, because you get these flavonoids in there, and it helps. Resveratrol, which I used to take. So, anyways. These sirtuin pathways are really good for longevity and for cleaning out your body, specifically senescent cells. And aging, with the aging process, senescence is really the main culprit. And senescence,
like a ghost cell,
right, occurs because of oxidative stress and all these bad things we do to ourselves all the time. And just aging, just being alive. So I'm really into these ideas that I can take supplements that would help me with aging, and that would theoretically reverse some of the problems with aging. It won't reverse aging itself, but would help with, as they call xenotherapies, or senescent therapies. Mm-hmm. And quercetin is one of the most studied one, but fisetin is also one that has been shown a lot of promise. And actually, there's a study I'm looking at right now, with mice, and it actually showed an improvement both in longevity and also health. Okay. And with mice, you can create these genetic problems that have these presentations, these illnesses that are like aging.
Predisposed.
So you just create the environment, and then they give them all these medications at a higher dose or these supplements, and they did very well. And they said, per our results, suggest that supplementation or even intermittent treatment with this safe and natural product, and this is from a major journal, I forget which one, could improve healthy aging even in elderly individuals. So the idea on these flavonoids is to take these even when you're older. So if you've already aged, you still have benefits from these, and it can reverse some of the problems with aging, which is senescence.
What was the mTOR episode?
It was Research Run Through 2.0 is episode 80 from about 8 months ago.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was the one before that. It was
it
was the first research we're into. Yeah,
I gotcha.
it was the very first.
So
one.
yeah. Anyways,
Yeah. One thing I will say too is that if you're taking resveratrol is a pretty expensive supplement if you're getting it in the right quality, essentially. Fisetin is actually a lot less expensive. So if you're looking for something that might be a little more budget friendly, it certainly is a lot less expensive than a really high quality resveratrol.
oh, it's a big difference.
Big
You
difference.
order all the stuff for me.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm paying for.
Yep.
Episode 44 from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
44. Episode 44 to listen all about mTOR.
I'm a big mTOR fan, but then I struggle with that because, all these people that do intermittent fasting and deprivation kind of lifestyles for longevity hate mTOR.
Well, because of the autophagy.
Right.
Because it turns off autophagy.
Right.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you could stimulate mTOR and also at the same time take supplements that would help with autophagy and stimulate the sirtuin pathways, right?
Yeah.
That's the idea. So you could still have muscle and a body contour. You don't want to be some frail, very extremely emaciated, skinny, older person that can't survive any kind of injury. But at the same time, you don't want to over mTOR yourself and die at 66
I'm over
because everything's
mTOR.
senesced. Yeah. So we could go on and talk about this for like 3 episodes. But yeah, Fisetin is what I'm into.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
You're still winning. That's
You
okay.
got one more. So that you can grab both of these items. It's like 2 versions of the
Two
same
versions of the same.
Yeah.
Okay. This seems like supplemental. Okay. Oh, here we go. You always just, you're such a weirdo. All right. So these are 2 drops, and Amy always has to come in with some supplement that is like I've never heard of. One of them's called Buttercup Flower Essence. Okay. The other one's Bleeding Heart Flower Essence. So these are 2 herbal supplements, obviously taken from a flower.
Mm-hmm.
Who manufactures these?
These ones are made by a company called FES, I believe,
Yeah.
is who makes these ones. But FES is the one who makes these. So these are natural flower essences. So Buttercup and also Bleeding Heart is the other one. Flower essences are exactly what they sound like. They are taken from the flower itself, kind of similar to, a homeopathic, but not in the same way, but something that is coming from, a natural source. Flower essences are really great. They can be taken internally. So these are I think they're in a brandy base actually. So
You know what it remind me of? You ever see Princess Bride?
yes.
You know Billy Crystal's character? He's like this guy who's like this homeopath that mixes things up and somehow makes people come back to life.
Yes.
Like, is he really dead or is
Chocolate
he dead?
makes it go
You're kind
down
of that,
easier.
You're kind of that person. With your
Yes.
mortar and pestle and your flower essences.
Yes, he would probably have used
I mean, you
these.
do realize I'm a doctor.
Yes.
Okay.
So flower essences are great for many conditions. I mean, they're something that has definitely been studied. They've been around for hundreds of thousands of years. I mean, they were used in you can go back into severe old times, like 28 BC. They were using flower essences and other herbal remedies. So they're very well tested as far as safety, So they're, like any other herbal or natural supplement, your results may vary, but you should definitely work with someone who understands which flower essences to take and how to take them appropriately. I do these in water, and these are both kind of specific things. Their flower essences are really great for dealing with more like emotional kind of stuff and issues, like more so than I know. You're so excited about this. But they're great.
So what do you do if your only emotions are angry and normal?
Well, then maybe you need some flower essences to deal with that.
Okay.
But these 2 specifically,
My kids know that too. They're like, Dad, you're either normal or angry. There's no other
no
thing.
in between.
Yeah.
So Buttercup is for radiant inner light,
Oh, yeah.
unattached to outer recognition of fame and self-assured, patterns of imbalance or feelings of low self-worth, inability to acknowledge or experience one's inner light and uniqueness,
Oh, my
and self-deprecation. I am challenged in some of these areas. So
I think you have good inner light, though.
yeah, but I have self-deprecation.
Yeah, that's a sign of someone who is aspiring to be successful.
Yes.
It's okay.
So yeah, there, if you have kind of, something that you're working on or trying to like work through, it's definitely something that can be additive to you as a human.
If you're just feeling down, you need to like squirt some flower essence in your mouth, put some Netflix on, have a nice brownie. Right? Is that what we're talking about? Like girl time?
Maybe. No, they're more just, to kind of help you like be your best self. That's how I look at them. Like, really like bleeding heart is really good for like openness and, feelings of unconditional love. Like sometimes I feel like I need to be better at that.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Yeah. So these two things are things that I
people that are really good at everything are annoying, right? To have things that you want to work through make you human and make you desirable and like attractive, right? It's okay. Right. Secondly, the fact that you're using flower essences to bring out your light just makes me love you more.
Yeah.
You too, Nils? Oh my God, you just put in my tea?
Put some in your tea.
Oh, Amy. Does it taste like flour?
Buttercup. No, like you're going to be so in love with your own self.
Come on, not really.
Yep.
That reminds me, what did I eat that one time that was hilarious?
The turmeric.
The turmeric, yeah. Do you remember that? It tastes like dirt.
Yes.
I'd take flower essence over turmeric.
Well, it should taste like dirt. It was raw turmeric root. It grows in the ground.
That's really good. So I like your choices. So your 3 are Butcher Box, okay, solid. The second thing is the mask, even more solid. Plus, you had like the show and tell
this
visual
year's Halloween
component,
costume,
and then you had the flower essence, which you hit on all the things. Your whatever other part of your life that I don't understand. So you're basically kicking my ass. So I've had zone 2 cardio, boring.
some miss.
I've had flavonoids. That's a pretty good one, I think. I think especially now. By the way, flavonoid has antioxidant properties too, so it's good to take during these times. Okay.
All right.
The last one. I think you've already won this, but that's okay. You got to finish through. Even if you're going to lose the game,
You got to finish strong.
you still have to finish.
That's right. No quitters.
We don't quit.
Nobody's a quitter here.
No.
All right.
But you're going to love this one.
Yes, I do love this one.
Yeah.
This is the Apex Energetics Liquid Vitamin D.
Yeah, I just picked this one for you, basically.
Love vitamin
Yeah.
D.
So, Amy, let's talk about vitamin D and why it's important, especially at this time. So I picked it because all I've been doing is reading about the thing we can't talk about, which is this past year. And vitamin D and vitamin D levels specifically have been shown to correlate with your chance of getting the disease we can't talk about and your survivability and your outcomes with the disease.
Yeah, your risk of getting severe symptoms.
But that's great. If I didn't know Amy, I would have said, okay, I take all those numbers at face value. But knowing Amy, knowing our discussions with nutrition, you realize that all this stuff is observational. And these people that are saying that vitamin D is going to save you from this viral disease are absolutely incorrect because we really don't have concrete evidence. We don't have a multi...
which you can never have with nutrition and human studies. You're never going to
Right.
get a completely
Right.
double-blinded nutritional study.
Exactly.
You just can't. It's
Exactly.
unethical.
Right. So
You can't get somebody with deplete their vitamin D levels and somebody who has really optimal vitamin D levels.
so it's
and,
always going to be retrospective.
yeah, and infect
Yeah.
them with something and see who lives because even that wouldn't matter. Even if they were twins, it wouldn't matter.
Maybe they're doing that in other countries.
There's
you
too
know?
many other factors.
Anyways, but vitamin D is so interesting. And Amy, why is vitamin D interesting as a vitamin?
Because it's more of a hormone. It functions
Exactly.
in your body like a hormone, not a vitamin.
Right.
And we talk a lot about vitamin D in our episode about the immune system, but also in the one about supplementation around surgery.
Right. So vitamin D, when I was going through medical school, was like ho-hum, right? It's fat-soluble vitamin, ADEK, A-D-E-K. Those are fat-soluble, right?
That's
Okay,
correct.
good. So fat-soluble vitamin, that was one thing. So it's not something your body makes. You have to get it from the outside. We learn in medical school and
You
people
can
learn.
synthesize it,
You can synthesize it from UVB rays, from sunlight.
which
And
is
that's
why it's a hormone and not a vitamin.
Exactly. But we did not, and we learned that vitamin D is intimately associated with calcium, right? Your calcium levels and
Cofactors.
deposition into the bones. So that's why I learned in medical school, like, oh, whatever, vitamin D, it's great. Ricketts, heard about that, whatever. But what we didn't know when I was going through medical school, because I'm old AF, is that vitamin D is actually really intimately involved with a lot of different things, not just calcium. And one of them is the immune system. And one of them specifically is cytokines. Amy's talked about before, and this problem that we're dealing with now is the cytokine storm. And specifically, there's IL-6, interleukin 6, and vitamin D has been shown to decrease the incidence or the strength of that cytokine storm and lower the IL-6 levels. That's where it's specifically helping for people with viral infections in the lungs. People that have higher vitamin D scores tend to do better with upper respiratory infections. That study's been shown. Mm-hmm. People that have higher vitamin D levels tend to get less infections with the stuff we're dealing with recently, and they tend to do better in the hospital itself. They do not end up in the ICU. They do not end up with cytokine storms. But why I'm so interested in this, and this has nothing to do, is this what I'm interested in, is actually it's all observational. People that have low vitamin D scores in general don't go outside as much. Right. They tend to be more obese. It's a fat soluble vitamin, right? Obese people have a lot of fat. The vitamin D goes in the fat.
Yeah,
right?
So it gets the concentration
it's
level.
It's not high in the plasma, yep. Right? They talk about it like people like Rhonda Patrick on Joe Rogan. They sit there and espouse all the stuff that vitamin D is going to solve every problem. No, it's not. Mm-mm. For example, they say this all the time for people who have melanin in their skin, okay? African Americans, their health outcomes are different. Well, is that because they have low vitamin D? They're not getting as much, the sunlight doesn't penetrate their skin and cause the conversion that they need to synthesize vitamin D? No, many things that has to do with like societal things and the hurdles they have to overcome to get good health care and the communities they live in. There's so many different aspects to this that are not related to biology, which is so hard for me to realize and work through personally because I am a doctor that depends on biology and surgery and healing and all these kind of things. And you open my eyes to that. So it's not as simple. With that said, there is no question, if you're going to take any supplement and you're deficient, vitamin D is the one I would recommend.
Yeah, and vitamin D levels can easily be checked with a blood serum. And
from Let's Get Checked?
Yep, from Let's Get Checked, which we love, or just anywhere. And it is important to check your levels, especially if you're supplementing, because you may not be supplementing appropriately. A lot of people take just whatever supplement they can find. And this one is really important to be primarily in a liquid base. I like vitamin D in a liquid. It is absorbed really well through the teeth and in the mouth. It is necessary for bone development and bone growth, which is why you see fortified milk adds vitamins A and D. You kind of need both. Like it's a cofactor thing. We talk about that a lot when I talk about nutrition. Like there's a lot of cofactors with minerals and vitamins. Like they use each other. They need each other. They need to be in the right place. So if you're taking a form of vitamin D that is not easily absorbed by your body or is broken down in your stomach and intestines and isn't really readily absorbed, you could be taking a lot and not be actually getting the benefit of it. If you're overweight, if you have other risk factors for other illnesses that make your liver metabolize differently, you really want to make sure you do get your levels checked before you start supplementing aggressively with it.
Right. So if you're talking about hindering a pandemic and making people survive, nutrition, exercise, and access to healthcare is the three ways you would do it. It's not supplementing with vitamin D. That just sounds like a very arrogant, myopic way to look at healthcare and also very affluent, right? So, but it is quintessential. I mean, Amy's, you're the one that revealed this to me, is that vitamin D is absolutely mandatory. If you're going to take any supplement, especially if you live in the Northern Hemisphere, maybe not down by the equator, but if you live in the Northern Hemisphere, do we have fans in the equator?
I
guess Portugal is pretty south.
Yeah.
Because weren't we big in Portugal?
Yeah.
We are actually. Yeah. Number 2. I think vitamin D supplementation is where it's at. So.
It is. And a lot of that is because of our lifestyle. As we've talked about before, when we talk about vitamin D on the podcast, people wear a lot of sunscreen, which is awesome. It's necessary for anti-aging.
Which is why it was so devastating when California closed down the parks. Like, what's the one thing you want people to do? To go outside. To get exercise, to get sunlight. I mean, sunlight is healing.
Yep.
I was reading a story about the Spanish flu in 1919 or whatever, 1918. And they finally figured out the way to help these people that were dying and they didn't know what was causing it was to go put them in sunlight.
Yep, put them in sunlight. And
they took all the sailors out and set them outside and they got better.
Yep. The sanatoriums and like Kellogg, if you do a lot of research on his, usage of hydrotherapy and sunlight, these natural, like nature nurtures, like it has a way of healing just like flower essences do. So I think vitamin D is an awesome thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you win.
Yeah.
You're a winner.
Now, next time we have one of these episodes and you say that you have won all of them, I'm just going to go with it.
Oh, I'm coming at it next time. And I'm going to have props that like make my face glow. I don't even know. I'm going to have a light show. I'm going to have fireworks.
In the building.
Yes.
We're doing the next stuff we're into.
It's our
outside.
office. We can do whatever we want. As long as we don't burn it down.
That's right. Don't burn it down. Well, All right. So, as a reminder, if you made it this far on the podcast, thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. We love your likes, comments, ratings, reviews. Sharing us with your friends really does help us. We're coming up on episode 100. It will be the very next episode you hear. And if you would like to hear yourself on that episode, please do leave us a
You
voicemail.
have to call. If you're a common listener or just a new person and you want to be heard, call. We'll put you on.
Yes, the number again is 303. It's
Preferably talking about our podcast, but if you have something you want to get off your mind, we'll put it on the 100th episode.
303-630.
Hi, I know this is not about your podcast, but I just have something to get off my chest here.
903. This is not Loveline. That's not what we're here for.
My boyfriend's really making me angry.
So, yeah, please leave us a voicemail. We do appreciate it. We are having a giveaway for one lucky voicemailer is going to get a Beauty and the Surgeon mug. I love mine.
So 303-630-9038.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you can find us on social media on Beauty and the Surgeon, at Beauty and the Surgeon Podcast on Instagram and at Jason Martin MD on
Puts it down
YouTube.
there too. Yeah.
He does. It's at the bottom of the screen.
here.
Yes. If you're interested in any of these products, there'll be links to those in the description box below. And again, we would love it if you would support us by using our ButcherBox link. This is not sponsored by any of these fabulous products, but you do get $30 off ButcherBox if you use the link below. Anything else?
That's all I got.
All right. Well, go fight team. Go win. I'm the winner.
Right. And after this episode, I'm going to go home and have a bath with flower essence and
white
try to
mask
find
on.
my inner light.
Good call.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to check out our sponsor, Let's Get Checked. Let's Get Checked offers fast, affordable, and completely confidential health testing for everything from STDs, male and female hormones, and even COVID-19, right from the comfort of your own home. And remember, new customers and listeners of our podcast get 20% off by using our URL, trylgc.com/beauty, and be sure to use the code BEAUTY20 at checkout. That's trylgc.com/beauty and use the code BEAUTY20, beauty, BEATUY 20 at checkout. Get checked. It's the right thing to do.